At Superior Energy, all of our builds are scalable. So we do everything from bottle fills all the way up to large size terminals and refinery plants. So basically we have a lot of different sectors at Superior: bottle fills, auto gas, bulk plants, vapor systems, and then of course the terminal, whether it be rail or pipeline. When a customer comes to us, we're going to handle everything from design, permitting, fire safety analysis, the actual build, hiring contractors, and then of course commissioning at the very end of the process. So this is a model of a terminal we built in Colorado in 2022. At the heart of the model is the storage tanks. When we're building a terminal, we can kind of do everything from 12,000 gallon tanks, which are less common in a terminal, all the way up to 120,000 gallon tanks. From the tank, we are going to our can pumps. This is what gets the product from the storage to the truck loading rack. Can pumps, we typically try to get about 500 to 750 gallons a minute out of the can pumps. So we're going to have a large header system that connects all the tanks, keeps the tanks balanced so that you have basically a unified storage. And then from there, it's going to move that product to the truck rack. We're typically loading 2 trucks, but we've done other sites where there's multiple loading racks. And in this situation, we're filling a truck on each side in typically 11 to 17 minutes with that gallons per minute that we're getting from those can pumps. At the loading rack, that is where the truck drivers are going to enter in their load information, and it's going to basically go to that terminal management, whether the customer has their own or we supply one ourselves. That's going to relay into the building, printing BOLs and that kind of information for the truck drivers. That gallon a minute is kind of where we like to separate ourselves. A lot of times facilities will fill much slower, and we like to get the truck drivers back out on the road as quick as possible. That way it reduces the line at the terminal and just keeps the entire process more efficient.
So this is obviously a rail facility terminal, so the product comes in by rail cars and is offloaded from the rail cars into the storage tanks. Now to do that, we have our compressors here, and what the compressors do is they suck vapor from the storage tanks, and that vapor pushes into the rail cars to push the liquid out, pushing it to the storage tanks. Now typically for our customers, when we're designing a rail facility and a storage facility, the customer wants to know how many gallons they're trying to get out of their facility per day. If they're trying to get 10 trucks or 12 trucks, we need to make sure that we can supply them with enough propane. So basically, the storage tanks act as a buffer. So that product comes from the rail cars to the storage tanks and then to the truck racks. But we need to make sure that we can have enough product for them to fill as many cars as they want per day, because sometimes they may only be able to get, for example, this is going to be, they'll be able to fit 6 rail cars here, offload 6. Now they might be able to get a switch during that day, so that's possibly 12 rail cars at approximately 30,000 gallons a piece. When a project is brought to us, typically the customer, a lot of times, they already have an idea what they want. They already kind of know that they want this many gallons of storage, and they already kind of know that they want this amount of rail cars. Now we will work with them to make sure that we're giving them the right amount of rail for the capacity that they want to do per day. We don't want to give them too many rail cars where it's a waste of their money. Typically on a rail terminal, you're going to have larger storage tanks than you would see on a bulk plant. They're going to be anywhere from 60 to 90,000 gallons. We've done terminals all the way from 2 60,000 gallon tanks all the way up to 24 120,000 gallon tanks. So when we're offloading rail cars, the compressors are going to suck vapor from the storage tanks. That vapor is going to get pushed into the rail cars, which is going to pressurize the rail cars and push the liquid back to the storage tanks. Now, on the larger rail terminals, what we like to do is we also like to do vapor recovery. So after the liquid is drained out of the storage tanks, we have switching valves, sometimes at the compressor, sometimes at the tanks, but we can switch to vapor recovery. And what we do, we can suck the vapor out of the storage tanks. And what we do, we have a separate connection on the tank that is pushed into the vapor space of the tank to bubble the propane vapor into the liquid to help keep from over-pressurizing the storage tanks. So at Superior Energy Systems, we don't just build rail terminals. A lot of times, sometimes it is a pipeline terminal, so it won't be rail. And so instead of the product coming in by rail, it is coming in on pipeline. And for a system like that, it'll go through a dryer system and then to the storage tanks, and then from there, storage tanks to the transports.
So one of our priorities at Superior Energy System is safety of the system. At a terminal, we typically have a higher requirement for safety due to the size of the storage and the possibility of leaks. At Superior, we work closely with NFPA, and that allows us to kind of be in tune with the most recent code changes, making sure that we're not only following code, but basically trying to do one better and make sure that our system's as safe as possible.
So with any new project, bulk plant or terminal, we will handle all the permitting needs. We will contact the state, city, local fire marshal, see what any of their requirements are.
If you want to learn more, go to www.superiornrg.com.